You're listening to Emerge.
Hello and welcome back to the Emerge podcast. My name is Callan Lakuta and we've got a very special show for you today. We've got our interview with Bodi, Nathan and Joe from Brisbane band The Jensens. It was broadcast live on our show back in August, and it's a chat detailing the recording process behind the boys' debut album Hyacinth Haze, which is now available everywhere. Anyway, without further ado, here's the interview. You're listening to Emerge. On Thursday, you guys are releasing your debut album, Hyacinth Haze, finally. How does it feel to be able to say that?
Great.
Awesome.
No, it feels good. I mean, yeah, we've been working on it for a long time. So, yeah, some of the songs we've had kicking around for ages. So to finally put them out, yeah, it's really good.
So what was the first track actually written? Do you remember?
I think Horrors and In Thought were written like in the same week. I feel like we just had like lots of jams. Just kind of we're splitting a room with somebody in Wollongabba, and we just kind of went in there almost every day for about 2 months and just would jam. And if there was something that stuck, we would record it on our phone and then put that aside, keep going.
Okay.
Yeah, we never really had any kind of plan for what we wanted to make. It was just kind of get into a room, start jamming. If something sounded good or if something was vibing, we would just take it back to our house in Kangaroo Point and try and flesh it out.
Cool. And how was the actual recording process in Bedlam?
Well, we started recording it at our house in Kangaroo Point.
Yeah, the final tracks on the album are actually the second versions of some of these songs. We had a bit of a home setup, and that's actually around the same time as we wrote and recorded Emotion, which is quite a long time ago.
Quite a long time ago.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Took a while.
So yeah, we tracked a lot of the initial demos at our house, just in this tiny little living room in Kangaroo Point, and then towards the end of that lease, I got the offer to move into Bedlam Studios in Indooroopilly, and that's when we kind of took the opportunity to re-record them properly and then to actually take it a little bit more seriously.
Yeah. So how did the songs vary from the original like demos, if you will?
They're pretty close. Like Horrors was just an endless jam. It just climaxed several times.
They're all a lot shorter.
Yeah, we shortened a lot of them.
Okay.
Even really later on shortened them.
Were any of the songs longer than the original Emotion cut?
Actuality is probably getting close.
Yeah. When the final version's what, like 8.5 minutes?
Yeah, it's pretty close to the Emotion length. What's that, 9.5 minutes?
But the first version of In Thought was like probably 9
Yeah,
minutes,
that's true. Yeah,
we would just jam on that
verse,
one bridge section over and over and over and over and over again.
Over and over, yeah.
It was only like right late in the game that we shortened that song down.
Okay.
After Bodi kind of shortened Coma down.
Yeah, Coma on the album is a longer version than when we put the single out.
Yeah,
It's got an extra
different
verse.
version.
Yeah, we just kind of chopped up our songs.
How did you find the actual experience of shortening those songs? I'm guessing it's a pretty difficult process.
Well, I mean,
Not at all.
not logistically. In terms of cutting it out in Pro Tools, it's really not that hard at all. I guess once we started experimenting with the structure of these songs, we really found that it had a very progressive feel. So shortening a 6 or 7 minute song down to 3.5, 4 minutes was actually pretty satisfying.
Okay.
Difficult for the guys and their lyrics to figure out which ones they wanted to stick.
Yeah, cutting up we did that to Slur. We've done that to almost every song on here. We did that to Slur as well. But yeah, I remember when we first heard Coma back, it was pretty divisive between us if we liked it or not. With going straight from the verse into the chorus and then into the bridge. It was pretty weird to hear that after the version that we had heard, but
I would have thought Slur was the hardest one for you, right?
Yeah, Slow was hard for me because the lyrics was really hard for me to kind of pick what I wanted to say.
And so what kind of themes do you explore on this record?
Well, Coma was like the first one that we had. No, that's a lie. So confusing thinking
Come
about
on
it.
to our show and you
remember.
lie.
Like Personally, I wrote Slur and Horrors during the plebiscite because that really affected me personally. And yeah,
We kind of wrote our lyrics just before the A Night with the Jensens big show at Foundry, or at least I
Yeah.
did, because I remember
we played the songs there.
we were gonna play a brand new set.
Yeah, that's right.
We played the entire album back then, but it was all completely different to the final versions. We played In Thought so many times live, and it's always been different. So in like the last few,
That's
it's
actually
only
been
the
the
last couple of
same.
months,
The
it's actually
actual
been the
album
final
version.
version.
Yeah.
But I just remember going to the first rehearsal for that gig and finishing the
With
lyrics
Morgan,
for
yeah.
Actuality before, like, just the minutes before that rehearsal, because I hadn't finished them yet. So that was when we did them. Yeah, my themes are like control and like discontent.
It was a pretty dark time, I thought,
Yeah.
for us. We kind of like,
We
as a
weren't
band...
writing about happy.
No, it's not.
shit.
There's not much happy stuff on the album.
No, but I don't know. It's kind of an optimistic thread going through it.
Yeah,
but
definitely.
it's not observing anything particularly positive.
I'd say
what you take it.
instrumentally, it's very bright
Yeah,
and uplifting. But
definitely.
was that your intention?
Well, I guess so. Like when I write a song, it's always driven by the melody first and foremost. That's the thing that gets me really excited, is like chord progression or a... Yeah, I don't know. We all have different things where we get inspired about writing a song, and we all kind of get the cogs turning at a different point, and mine's definitely melody. So I guess the melodies don't give a juxtaposition. They do give a juxtaposition to the lyrics, which is, what
That's
we
true.
wanted.
That's I mean,
the
yeah,
end.
definitely. And when we were trying to name the album, that was kind of what we found was the coherent thread through the album was kind of beautiful with a dark undertone.
Aye.
Was the recording process much different from your debut EPs?
Extremely.
So different.
How so?
Tell him, Bodi.
Well, with our first couple of EPs, we went with a couple of people who showed like extreme interest in our music, and they were looking for a project to really, get sucked into, and yeah, we kind of jumped at the opportunity, and it was very much the same as how we do it now, but with, I don't know, Stephen and Constantine were just there to help us out, and it wasn't really as intimate as the three of us have it now. It's a lot more. I don't know.
The biggest thing
We
is
have our
time.
hands on it right now.
Yeah, it's because of just the time restrictions we had with the first two EPs.
Yeah. That's...
You're going into a studio, you're paying for every hour that you're there. You got to go in, you got to get it done, you got to get out, and you don't have much time to just kind of
Experiment.
live in the music.
Yeah, exactly.
Experiment with it. Just,
Like you'd just have a checklist. You'd go in and you'd tick everything off there until the checklist had been filled. Oh, sorry. That was a bit of an inside joke.
I guess to sum it all up, like we maybe had a couple of weekends with our first EP to get a lot of the songs done. Maybe a month or two with the second EP, and then from then on, this album's taken us, longer than a year.
Wow.
Yeah, because we wanted. We didn't want to look back and think we could have done better or been more creative or experimented more or tried more sounds than we had, because after the EPs, like, they were great when we put them out, but afterwards we're like, oh, maybe if we just had have thought about this a bit more, they would have been a little bit more interesting.
yeah, moving into Bedlam and learning how to record ourselves were the two main differences. Because for Emotion, we sold heaps of our belongings to get an Apollo so that we
Yes,
could
we did.
record ourselves. And then from then, Bodi really learned as much as he could, and we all just got totally sucked into the recording process.
I guess at the end of the day, it becomes just like an instrument. Like you spend hours and years and years and years trying to learn how to play the guitar at your best of your ability, and then it becomes a instrument that you can use to be creative. Production for us has really been such a creative tool over the process of this album, and we didn't really realize that until we started getting hands-on with it.
Exactly. You could not write the song and you could not record any instrument on it, but you could mix it in a way that completely transforms it, and it does become its own instrument.
And what was the most important thing that you learnt from working with those producers that you took on to self-producing this one?
Absolutely everything. Like always looking over the shoulder and seeing how people are doing it, but not just the people that we worked with its inspiration from other albums that, you know, you always wanted to try, or sounds that you didn't know how they created it. You always wanted to make those sounds yourself. That's been the funnest thing, is making our kind of innovative sounds and trying to be as creative as possible, just like those records.
And speaking of, do you guys each have one specific record that has influenced you personally in the recording
towards
process?
this album?
Yeah, towards this album.
There are records that I think I didn't realize inspired me, and now listening to them, I'm like, whoa, this is a very similar vibe, which is Songs from the Big Chair by
hell yeah.
by
I love that
Tears
album.
for Fears. I listened to it the other
Oh,
day.
wow,
I listened to it
okay.
the other day, and I was like, this is kind of exactly the vibe we were going for. It's kind of dark,
A
prog,
lot of moody
pop
sax.
with heaps of weird
Nice.
production and like just a little bit of electronic aspect in there, but not too much. And yeah, that was a big one for me. And the vocals are kind of similar. The melodies, harmonies.
Anything that Dave Fridman has produced.
Yeah.
That's always been our go-to.
Mhm.
We love Tame Impala and we love Flaming Lips and MGMT and
Spoon.
Did he produce
Yep.
Little Dark Age as well?
He mixed
He
it.
mixed it.
Oh, okay.
The
Did he?
guy from Chairlift produced it.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Nice.
Yeah.
I
That
can't
was
remember
actually a big influence on Coma, that whole album.
I hear that.
Yeah. Yeah. for
What about
sure.
you, man?
Oh, me? Oh. I guess one we constantly joked around about, but like kind of was Tranquility Base Hotel and Casino.
Oh, wow. Okay.
It's
Yeah.
like in certain ways.
The
just
tape
in certain
is,
ways.
all the
tape
noise.
all the noise.
You guys suck.
And
Not a fan, Bodi.
oh no, he's
I
a
love
fan.
that album.
He's a big fan.
Okay.
Every time something was recorded with some noise on it, he'd just say, well, have you heard Tranquility?
Have you guys
Base
heard the new
Hotel
Arctic
by
Monkeys
the Arctic
albums?
Monkeys?
Kind of like my excuse to get out of it.
Because it's got noise in it. It works.
No, I think there's a
Sounds good.
certain mood there that I can feel in
Mm.
Hyacinth Haze.
And was it always your intention from early on to have such a big genre mix on this album?
I think yes,
Yeah, definitely.
because after we put Sexless out, we just got to a point where it was really grinding our gears that people called us a garage rock,
Vintage
vintage
garage
garage pop band or something. That was kind of what
rock?
that was kind of what
It
people
just seemed
called
like
us.
no matter what song we released,
They would just
in the
always say-
review, it would be like, the Jensens release another summertime beach vibes hit.
So
And it's
fucking
like,
sick of
when
it.
we put like Gaff song out, I was like, how are you
It's
getting
not,
summertime
yeah.
beach vibes from this? How?
They just kept calling it the same
We were
thing. We're
getting
like,
pigeonholed.
let's not
You
write
should have
anything.
released Drowning as a single, guys.
We should have. There's a lot of things we should have done.
Yeah.
Callum.
Where were you, Callan? Where were you?
I was late to the party, man.
Late.
Well, yeah, pretty much Emotion was when we allowed ourselves to do what we wanted to do without thinking about anyone else. So we
Very
kind
true.
of
That's so true.
we tried to rein
When
it.
you got selfish.
Yeah,
Extremely.
absolutely. And fuck, it was good. But you got to, make some money. And no, you don't. I should shut up now. We realized that obviously you can't just keep releasing music that's like Emotion. You have to actually release something that people want to hear.
Mm.
My mum was not a fan, so that inspired me to write a shorter song.
And what was the song that you wrote? Was it Four Chambers?
It was Four
Yeah.
Chambers. She told me that Shark Thunder was our best song, and she didn't really like Emotion. So I was like, all right, you want a guitar riff? I'll give you a fucking guitar riff. Yeah, it doesn't really sound anything like Shark Thunder though. So I think she's still
The
disappointed. in
demo
me.
kind of did though.
Yeah.
And which track on the record took the longest to complete?
Four Chambers took the longest to mix.
Yeah,
There was like
that was tough.
8 revisions on that because I don't know why.
The demo was super raw and very
Yeah.
dry, and to fit it in with the rest of the record, it took a little bit of time.
Yeah.
But I think we got there in the end.
Mm.
It sounds good.
But recording wise,
Probably actuality.
That's what
just-
I was gonna say.
Yeah.
It's got
'Cause it's
probably
so
the
long.
most things going on,
Yeah.
most different
There's
sections.
quite a number of tracks on that song. Yeah.
yeah. But we just did them all together.
Yeah, I guess with that song, it was like around the same time as we wrote Emotion, Horrors. So we just had these chords and these jams that we just get lost in. So the song being that long, it just took so long for us to just layer everything until the.
I think that's the only one we didn't shorten. So the only one that came out unscathed.
Yeah.
We always
Well, that
knew that it
started
was
out
going to
as-
be the last song on the
Or was it
album.
longer?
Well, it started off as 2 jams that had no start or
Right,
finish.
yeah.
Yeah.
The first part and the outro part, they were just jams that we would just play and play and play and be like, yeah.
Sick. You just stuck them together.
Which track on the album is your personal favorite and why?
It's a tough question.
Very tough. I like In Thought, to be honest.
Oh, that one's coming up.
It's I like it because it's just such a progression, and by the end of it, you kind of are leaving feeling very fulfilled.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a nice climax, a nice feeling after it.
Mm.
Yeah.
What about you, Nathan?
I don't know.
It's tough,
think
man.
it is tough. At the moment, it's probably Slur because it just feels the freshest to me. I feel like when we were recording it, I listened to all of the songs I sang on so many times because I was trying to just listen to the takes over and over again and think about how I could do it better.
Mm.
And so for some reason, I think I've listened to Slur the least. So now when I listen to it, it feels really fresh. And it's actually like listening to another band. And I forgot about all the shit that we recorded like months and months
There's
ago.
a lot of stuff in there.
There's heaps of, like, it's good in headphones because
Yeah.
Bodi did like these 2 synths that just keep rising in and out on the left and the right. So you get this cool panning effect, which I totally forgot about until I listened to it like a few weeks ago.
Which track has the most amount of layers to it? Or tracks to it, I mean.
Actuality.
Actuality.
Mm.
Just because it's so long and every section has its
Yeah,
own
different
sort of
instrumentation,
instrumentation. So
yeah.
Mm.
we got carried away.
I think by the end of Coma, we had a few tracks as well.
We took a
It's
lot of
pretty
those out. I
straightforward.
mean, Brock took a lot of those out.
Yeah.
It's
We had a lot of
That's
stuff
what we
in
knew
there.
Brock was the guy to mix this, is when we gave him Coma and he just pretty much stripped it down to like 2
Yeah.
synths, bass and drums. And
Yeah.
We just
Ableton.
get
It's
so
like, wow,
attached.
sounds much better.
We get so attached to these parts that we've done in the studio, and because we've got no one there to tell us that we're doing something stupid, we just keep running with these ideas until we give the session to Brock, and it's
Yeah, well, that's the fun of it.
oh, it's the
Yeah.
best
It's
part
the
about
best
it.
part. We're just like, oh, well, we got time. Let's give it a try.
Mm.
Yeah, like we actually tried to mix all these songs on our own, the 3 of us, and it turned out horribly because we were so attached to these parts of these songs
Yeah.
that we just couldn't level them down, not sure what to really focus on.
Yeah.
But someone with fresh ears can go, yep, this works, yep,
Mm.
this is engaging, the other stuff's just vibey, let's lower it down or get rid of it altogether, and that's what Brock's done, and it's a good
We
good
definitely
process.
need that objective third party.
Yeah.
I don't know when we're going to be ready to mix our own
ourselves.
music, if ever. I
So
feel like it's
much
always
pressure.
just better having someone else there.
Yeah.
If you ever want a really brutal, scathing opinion, I'm always here, boys.
I don't
You would
think
never
that
do
you
Always
that
said
here to,
that
I'm
to
always
us.
here to bring you back down to earth.
You've done quite the opposite.
Do you each have a favorite Queenzone release of the year so far? Could be a single, EP, or LP.
Did like the Future Haunt song. I also
Yeah.
liked cool, good one, Brian.
I mean, yeah, mine is Future Haunts.
Okay.
I'm sorry, we have to have the same one, but mine's Future Haunts.
Oh, great save. It's
Yeah,
right
I was-
here in
I
front of
was
me.
just
It's
gonna
been
say-
written there. on the thing. Also,
Actually, Details first page. That was great.
yeah,
Okay.
that was incredible.
that was probably my favorite. Oh,
Yeah.
or Pink Manor, man.
There's a lot. Also, Bathed in Venom by Deadlights, which is
Oh, yeah.
hardcore.
It's
Friends of
it's
ours.
fantastic.
It's amazing.
That clip was
Yeah.
incredible.
Yeah, awesome visuals always accompany their music.
What about you, Bodi?
Well, I was going to say Great Sage. I think those guys are just in such an element right now. Their
Yeah.
music is
Yeah, they've really found themselves
yeah,
in
they're
outer space.
so invested in the style that they're doing, and I love that.
Mm.
Creative in every way, I guess.
Definitely. And do you each have a go-to cooking record at the moment?
Ooh,
Yes.
that's a tough one.
Well, I found one the other day by a guy called Quantic.
Oh yeah,
Ah,
dude, I love
okay.
Quantic.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy music.
Yeah.
It's like,
Dude, you gotta listen to
It's-
the Todd Terje remixes of Quantic.
but his latest album is
good.
like sweeping electronic funk with a string quartet. It's
Ooh.
like the best cooking music ever.
Mm.
And there's that album by Brazilian artist Milton Nascimento and
dude.
Low Borges,
Yeah, I remember you
which
showed me that.
we played
That's
at
an
like a
incredible
photo
album.
shoot. That's a
Okay.
great cooking album.
Yeah.
Anything with
Igor.
a South American flavor
Igor.
is nice too.
Yeah.
Just
cook
Igor
to.
all the time and
Igor.
nothing else but Igor.
Fair enough.
I bought a Wildlands ticket the other day and I have no money, but I'm so excited.
What about you, Bodi?
Maybe not like a dinner album, maybe like a breakfast album.
Yeah,
Is,
that'll do.
I don't know. I listen to music when I cook breakfast, but when it comes to dinner, it's usually I'm coming home from work and just
Okay.
zone out and watch movies.
Just the Meagerang doesn't take an album.
It doesn't
like,
do that.
Quick process.
But my breakfast, I'll tell you.
It's an elaborate feast.
I don't know. I guess the last one I listened to was Dots and Loops by Stereolab.
Such a good album.
Okay.
Yeah, anytime I listen to that, it puts me in a great mood.
Yeah.
Ready to start my day.
Makes me hungry.
Nice. And if you guys could master any instrument, which would you select?
The harp.
Strings.
Oh,
No.
I feel that.
Wait, what'd you say? Harp strings?
I said harp, yeah. He said
Harp.
strings.
That'd
Yeah,
be
dude,
Ah,
that'd
That's
be-
like the sixth
Dude.
time I've had harp as an
Oh my
answer.
that would be
God.
incredible. Imagine just sitting in this gigantic ballroom playing a harp for
Yeah,
everybody.
you
Like,
need
that
to
would just
have
be
a
so incredible.
gigantic ballroom.
I have one. Have you been to
Okay.
my house? I've got one.
You do. That's actually true. Definitely piano.
Future Haunts shot a
Definitely
live
piano.
video in
Yeah.
the room.
If you master the piano, you master everything. That's what I reckon. I just wish
don't
my
know.
parents had like whipped me as a kid and forced me to take piano lessons. So I'm pretty disappointed that they let me do whatever I wanted.
Terrible parents. No, they're nice people.
Yeah, love
very
you guys.
nice people.
And
Instead, you're made to listen to AC/DC as like
Yeah,
a young
exactly.
toddler and
oh wow,
learn the
And
drums
dress up
very
as
early.
Angus
Yeah.
Young and meet Angus Young.
Yeah, I had a horrible upbringing.
and get your dad to make you guitars and
I'm so
Oh my
grateful,
God.
Mum and Dad. I love you so much. If you're listening to this,
And lastly, if you only had a few words to describe Hyacinth Haze out on Thursday, which would you? Which few words would you use?
hard. Oh man,
Melancholy,
melancholy.
Fine.
yet optimistic.
Nice.
Hyacinth Haze. Those are 2 words.
Oh yeah, we've never had that before.
Ah,
Very
damn
original.
it. I'll leave.
cinematic.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all you're
feel
getting
it.
from me.
All right. Well, speaking of,
I can't even see you.
yeah, what's up with that, man?
Shorty.
There you are. And that was my interview with Bodi, Nathan, and Joe from Brisbane band The Jensens. Make sure you have a listen through their debut album Hyacinth Haze. It's available everywhere now. And make sure you follow the guys on all their social media platforms at The Jensens Band. Thanks for listening as always. You've been listening to Emerge, and I will talk to you very soon.